There are very specific things that you do every day, and you do them out of habit, that prevent your back pain from getting better. And sitting, standing, and sleeping, there are good positions and bad positions. So you need to be aware of what those positions are, because you might be making it worse. I've seen this thousands of times where people think they're doing the right thing, and they're in a position that actually makes their spine and their pain worse. I want you to like my video. I want you to subscribe to my channel, share this information, and if you have any questions or comments, put the comments in there. But don't say that I talk too slow or my videos are too long, because I get those. I'm trying my best. All right, here we go. So the goal is for you to understand why you have the back pain. And when you understand why you have the back pain, you can make better decisions and eliminate your back pain and live pain-free. And that'll give you independence of any other therapies that you feel like you have to keep going to. Okay, this will prevent the back pain from coming back. So no more need for any medicine or any other therapies, and it'll give you freedom from the back pain. And what we know is discs under load start to get a little bit weaker and inflamed. And when they get weaker and inflamed, you'll start to develop a little tear in the annulus, which is the outer portion. The disc is like a jelly donut. The outer portion is a thick cartilage. The inside is the jelly. But under load and abnormal movement patterns, so maybe bad posture and abnormal movement patterns, everyday life activities will start to cause the disc to break down. You'll develop a bulging disc, and sometimes a herniated disc, and sometimes a ruptured disc, and that can push on the nerve and cause the pain that goes down the leg. But it's all about the load and the distribution of the load and the motion on the disc. We've identified, using 5,000 MRIs in a study, that certain motion patterns will cause herniations to get worse and bulges to get worse, and herniations to get better and bulges to get better. So there's right positions and wrong positions. We've identified this. Not everybody's the same. Some people get worse when they flex forward. Some people get worse when they extend backwards, and vice versa. Sometimes they get better when they lean forward. So not everybody's the same. And we've seen this on the MRIs. We've actually physically seen the discs move under load and motion patterns. Very important. That's what prevents the back pain from going away, or what causes it to keep coming back, is this overload and aggravation, and the inflammation from the overload and the aggravation to these tissues causes what's sensitization. Okay? Is if I were to hit the hammer, what's going to happen is it's going to get inflamed, and then it's going to become very sensitive to touch. Okay, simple things are going to hurt. Same thing happens to your back. Because of this tear and the tearing of the discs that takes place and not healing properly, is it gets aggravated. Okay, it's like hitting your thumb again and again and again and again. The key is to eliminate the cause. What's the cause? The cause is bending, okay, healthy movements and unhealthy movement patterns to the spine, and posture. And the posture is all about the load. We have 22 videos on the best way to move. Okay, we also have videos on the best positions to sleep in, to sit in, and to stand in, because those are the activities that will overload the disc. Now, this all starts with bracing. You have to brace. Bracing prevents the motion patterns, and bracing is an endurance muscle. Okay, but bracing is like somebody's going to hit you in the stomach. Boom. That's the bracing. You hold on tight, okay? And what the bracing does is it prevents the abnormal motion patterns or the shearing forces of the discs and the joints, because it can happen in the discs and the facet joints. But step number one is bracing. Always, always, always bracing. Bracing is endurance. Bracing is not strength. We're not trying to make your back stronger. We're trying to make it more durable. And the way we make it more durable is through endurance. It means you have the strength for a long enough period of time to where it doesn't break down. It's not necessarily strength like I got to squat 400 pounds, okay? Motion needs strength. Spines need endurance. So it's all about endurance, okay? So the question is posture and loads on the disc. What are they? Overloading the disc aggravates it. Now we know lying down on your back is the least loaded position of the spine. About 25% of the load happening when you're lying on your back. Now, some people need to lie with their feet up, and some people need to lie on their stomach. Lying on your side, 75% of the load. With your knee in this position, it tends to cause some rotation of the pelvis, and that can aggravate the spine. So what we recommend is putting a pillow between your knees. That takes some of the pressure off the disc. Now, standing upright in a neutral position is 100% of the load because of gravity on the spine. Now, it goes up from there depending on what you're doing. If you're leaning forward, it can add 150 pounds of pressure on there. Or if your head goes forward, if you have a forward head lean, that could load 60 pounds of pressure on the discs in the neck and 60 pounds of pressure on the discs in the low back. So forward head posture overloads the discs. Bending wrong with your spine overloads the discs. There's a right way to bend and a wrong way to bend. Now, if you have to bend over to pick things up, and I'm carrying weights in my hand, it could go upwards of 220% of the load on the disc. If you're doing it wrong, now there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. There's still going to be load on the disc, but the distribution of the load is going to be even across the nucleus, so it's less stress. There's still stress, but less stress. So there's a right way and a wrong way. Now, the seated position in a chair, slightly extended back a little bit at about 110 degrees off neutral. Neutral will be 90 degrees right here. This is the least stressed position on the spine. It's still higher than if you were standing, but it's 105% of pressure on the discs in this position here. 90 degree angle is going to put 140% pressure. So it's going to increase the load on the disc. It's going to aggravate the disc. So the seated position, especially now that we have to sit all day long, is very, very important. This is the better position. Some people think, oh, I need to sit up straight, because sitting up straight is what they tell you. I got to sit up straight. Well, sitting up straight is going to cause overloading of the disc. And then if you have to lean forward, you're going to add 185% pressure on the disc. This is the position people sit in when they go to baseball games in the bleachers. If you're going to a football game to watch your kids, or if you're an athlete and you're sitting on the bench waiting to go into the game, this is the position you sit in. Okay, bleachers don't have back support, and very often what happens is you end up leaning forward. 185%. It's going to cause trouble with your disc, and it's going to aggravate your disc. So if you had back pain and it got better, and then you had to go watch one of your kids, or you're sitting in the stands, or you're an athlete and you're sitting on the bench and your back starts to cause you trouble, it's this position right here. Why? Because it overloads the disc. Overloaded discs tend to have problems. Now, if you have to pick up something in that position, it could be upwards of 275%. That's the worst position to be in, right there. Boom. Okay, I'm not sure why you'd be lifting something in that position, but it's going to happen, because sometimes it does. And then you can't figure out what you did. I don't know what I did. Well, you overloaded the disc, or you bent wrong, or both. That's what happens. The sit-up position, 210% of the load in increase. It's going to cause you damage to the disc. They've done studies, and they found that the flexed position, loaded like this into the sit-ups, actually will damage the disc. Sometimes you're like, all right, my doctor sent me to do some exercises. What were we doing? Well, I was doing sit-ups. That's why. Because it's not uncommon to give you sit-ups, because you got to work your core. Well, this is the worst core exercise ever. Don't do it. Okay? So the goal is for you is to eliminate the activities that have the highest load. What position are you seated in? What position are you sleeping in? What position are you standing in? Are you bending? When you bend, are you picking things? What's the angle of your hips? Things like that. We have a process that we walk you through to make sure you don't damage the disc. It's an educational process, and it's an activity that you do every single day. Really simple exercises. It's a step-by-step program. We call it the 10X back program. Okay, with the 10X back program, it's a step-by-step over a 3-month period. And the goal is to create the durability, the resilience, and the toughness of your spine. It's not the load, it's the load you're not prepared for. This is the preparation for life. This is what gets your life back. This is what gives you the strength to do the activities that you want to do. It's the most comprehensive and scientific program available. We've developed it over 30 years. 26,000 patients put together by a team of medical doctors, chiropractors, physical therapists, nurse practitioners, and PhD researchers. We've done the research. Every week you'll get 10 new videos on education, but also exercises that you need to do based on your criteria. There is a criteria that you have to answer some questions, and we identify what your criteria gives you. Certain movement patterns, postural habits, standing, lying down, all the things that we just talked about. Exercise progression. Comprehensive home exercise every single week. It's on video. You get them right on your phone or on your computer. Tutorial videos. Exclusive access to a question and answer session. If you have questions about this, you can ask me. We have a membership site that I go to, and we encourage questions because I want to help you. You can live pain-free. Very often when I get these questions, they're doing something wrong, or they're doing part of our program at somebody else's program. Like, don't do the other exercises because those are making you worse. That's it. So normally this is $997. Matter of fact, if you were to fly into our clinics and stay for 3 months and we walk you through this step by step every single day, which does happen, people pay $10,000 to do that. For this, it's $47 a month for 3 months, okay? If you don't like it, send the information in. We'll send you your money back. We don't care because we want you to get better. You do the work, you get better. That's it. Today's Saturday. I'm doing a video on a Saturday. So there you go. Get your life back. Stop sitting around and let's get this thing done. Get it done. That's it. See you tomorrow.